You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. The Hazleton area is mourning the loss of a man who helped the lives of countless children throughout the years. Our Julie Stefanovich has more on the life and legacy of former Helping Hands Executive Director John Seaman.
It's with heavy hearts that we announce the passing of a great community leader. John Seaman served as Executive Director of what became and is now known as the Helping Hands Society of Greater Hazleton. He retired from his position in 2011, but never stopped his crusade of helping out the children and the community. In his decades-long career, he touched the lives of all he came in contact with.
He was just an amazing man, a legend. He was just a legend. You just don't find people like that anymore. He will be sorely missed by so many. Like Johnny Frank, who went here, who was our ambassador. He's 28 years old now, doing fantastic. And because of John Seaman.
Seaman started out as a speech therapist and was responsible for creating numerous programs that help children with developmental disabilities learn, grow, and thrive.
And we just continue them, but we've learned. So many people learned so much from him. He just was one of a kind.
Cook said that Seaman had a special gift and was so intuitive with the children that he figured out the best plans to help them on their journeys. Countless students have grown into productive adults through the ingenuity of Mr. Seaman.
So many children come back here over the years. I have adults. Oh my gosh, John Seaman. He just touched the community.
He made a great impression on the adults that he worked with as well.
You could get angry at him for being late for an appointment or something, and be so angry, and he would just say something funny, and you'd be like, oh gosh, that's John. Because we loved him and respected him, and he deserved that.
Those who knew him best knew that John was a jack of all trades and master of all that he did.
I don't think we could ever describe the magnitude of what that man did. I mean, he did so much good. And he was quite the golfer and comedian and prankster. So he was everything.
His legacy will live on in the hearts of his family and the community as well. John Seaman was 89 years old. In Hazleton, for WYLN News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thank you, Julie. Last January 6th, the world watched as rioters charged the nation's capital. Today marks the first anniversary of the attack, where more than 700 people from across the United States took part in the insurrection. The crowd of President Donald Trump supporters stormed the building following a rally, at which time Congress was certifying 2020's presidential election results. 4 people died that day, including 1 Capitol police officer, and dozens of others were injured. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris gave remarks this morning about the attack, where Biden referred to the former president as, quote, defeated. Trump responded by saying Democrats want to own this day of January 6th so they can stroke fears and divide America. A day-long series of events was planned at the Capitol that included a moment of silence and a prayer vigil led by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. PennDOT's already out and about prepping for Friday's predicted snowfall. The department is pre-treating major roadways in advance of the winter weather. Anti-icing trucks were out today wetting highways with salt brine ahead of the storm's arrival. PennDOT reminds motorists to pack an emergency kit for their vehicle, which should include water, non-perishable food items, necessary medications, blankets, phone chargers, and a small shovel. PennDOT also encourages people to slow down, especially when approaching bridges and highway ramps where ice can form without warning. While traveling during inclement weather is not recommended, you can always check road conditions at 511pa.com if you must go out. A Hazleton man faces numerous charges following a scuffle with police and hospital staff. 24-year-old Blake Sluck told employees at the Turkey Hill on Alter Street that he was being chased by a man with a shotgun early Tuesday morning. When police arrived, they found him in front of the store and noticed that he appeared to be under the influence. Officers encouraged Sluck to get medical treatment and called for an ambulance. He entered the emergency vehicle but quickly exited, claiming that the medics were trying to kill him. He was then placed into a police cruiser where he kicked a window and hit his head against the interior. He was taken to Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, where he continued to struggle with police and hospital staff. Sluck was charged with aggravated assault, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, vandalism, and public drunkenness. His bail was set at $35,000. A Mahanoy City man was charged with assault and locked up after a New Year's Eve incident in Schuylkill County. A woman went to the Borough Police Station Saturday, January 1st, to report that 30-year-old Reginald Rogers punched her and smashed a plate over her head during an argument the night before in the 400 block of West Market Street. She told police that she was knocked out during the fight and woke up the next day to get treatment at a hospital. It was not until January 4th that police got in contact with Rogers when they pulled him over for a traffic violation. He was taken into custody and remanded to Schuylkill County Prison after being unable to post $25,000 straight cash bail. Wilkes-Barre City Police are asking for the whereabouts of a missing female. 20-year-old Jada Renee Shack was last seen leaving the Catholic Youth Center on South Washington Street. She was last seen wearing all black, shoes, pants, and a Michael Kors jacket. Authorities also say that she has mental disabilities. Anyone with information on Shack's whereabouts is being asked to call 911 immediately. New federal guidelines and COVID cases on the rise have prompted schools to make pandemic-related changes in Schuylkill County. The Diocese of Allentown's plans to make mask-wearing optional starting Monday were put on hold in the 5 schools it operates. Shenandoah Valley will also be shifting to a mask-wearing requirement effective Thursday. Those who want to return to school at Mahanoy area must have a negative COVID test after 5 days, as Minersville area and North Schuylkill are only encouraging it at this time. Masks are required in Pottsville area school district buildings, but are optional at extracurricular activities on campus. However, the school board is set to vote on an optional masking requirement at its January 12th meeting, which, if passed, will go into effect the following day. A dozen Republican candidates running for governor took the stage Wednesday night for a Q&A session in Harrisburg. The session was sponsored by conservative groups and a statewide business association. One of those candidates, former Congressman Lou Barletta, was not in attendance, but said he'll participate in forums and debates once candidates have qualified to be on the ballot. However, Barletta will be attending one sponsored by the state Republican Party, scheduled to take place on February 4th. This is the first time in decades that party officials have seen a variety of candidates, as they look for a potential one to succeed outgoing Democratic Governor Tom Wolf. The winter season's about to get frightful, so be sure to do everything you can to prevent those injuries, slips, and falls. We stopped by Dagenhart Chiropractic for a chat with Dr. Alex to find out how. New year, same weather, and Pennsylvanians are beginning to see more ice and snow in their future forecast. With that comes somewhat dread having to do each year, braving the cold to shovel, and shovel, and shovel.
We definitely want to avoid falls. Falls are bad. Put out your salt. Get either hire the local boy or shovel while it's going before it gets real bad. If you know there's ice, pre-salt it.
And to avoid any injury, slips, and falls while we're shoveling, form is very important.
Of course, we see a lot of people here from improper form. It's tempting to go down into the snow and then turn your entire torso when you're throwing the snow. And the snow's sometimes very heavy. You're throwing 15 pounds over your shoulder several times. Just lift, turn your whole body. If you need to push, that's fine too. Actually, pushing is probably easier than lifting. But if you do lift, turn your whole body, feet first. If you're turning your torso, you're going to tweak things. It's going to be very uncomfortable. Throw out your back. I love that term. But yeah, pushing the snow like a plow, easy peasy.
And while you're hard at work, don't forget to give your body a breather every so often.
You definitely don't want to do all the shoveling at the same time, especially if you have a big driveway. I know my father and mother have a quarter-mile driveway, and they're doing the whole thing in one day. Hire someone to plow it if it's that long. And if your driveway's not that long, and you've got a walkway and stuff, do little bits. Go in, get some Joe, come back out, do little bits. If you push too hard, you're going to feel it. And then you'll see me, and you won't be happy, maybe until you leave.
It's always key to keep hydrated while your body's venturing into the heat, but sometimes we don't consider something like that for the cold. Those frigid temperatures could do some damage if the proper precautions aren't taken, like, for example, dressing for the weather.
Cold has a natural numbing effect, and the whole idea of numbing is you might not notice it. So this means you might push yourself to limits you shouldn't. And the most dangerous is if you're getting wet. So snow's getting in your shoes, you don't have proper boots, it'll get really cold, and then when you finally come inside, you're taking off your shoes and finally feeling it. So this goes for muscle aches and things more dangerous like frostbite and things like that. If your feet are wet, go inside, it's over. You know, you've shoveled enough, dry those feet off. You cannot wear wet socks outside in the snow. If you're real cold and you're shoveling hard and you think, maybe I'm pushing it, you probably are. You can't feel it because you've got nature's best ice pack on you.
So take it easy out there this winter season. But if you do happen to run into some trouble, you can always call 570-454-2474 to make an appointment with Dr. Alex, who'd be happy to fix you right up. Coming up on Wyln News, more on Philadelphia's deadliest single fire in at least a century. Plus, one of the highest Powerball jackpots will be split in two. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kits. We'll be right back.
My name's Haley. I'm 4. And the weather tomorrow is going to be snowy.
We want your child to be our Wyln Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on Wyln News and Wyln social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the Wyln News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
We all need a midweek pick-me-up, and WYLN TV 35 is your home for good news on Wednesdays. All our good news stories will be printed in the WYLN TV Pennies Classified Good News Bulletin, distributed throughout the community and digitally posted on WYLN News Facebook page and on our website. If you have good news to share, contact us to be featured in our special Good News edition. Good events, good people, good jobs, all good news.
An early morning row home fire took a dozen lives and sent 2 people to the hospital Wednesday in Philadelphia. The blaze broke out just after 6:30 in the Fairmount section of the city, and fire crews had the intense inferno under control in less than an hour. Police say the home had been converted into 2 apartments and that flames could be seen tunneling out of windows on the 2nd floor. The fire proved fatal for 12 people, 8 of which were children, and is being called Philadelphia's deadliest single fire in at least a century. 8 people got out safely, and 2 were taken to the hospital, but there's no word on their conditions at this time. Authorities say 4 smoke detectors were in the building, but none were found working. They went on to say that the blaze may have sparked from a Christmas tree fire, but the official cause remains under investigation. The CDC recently approved boosters for ages 12 to 15, suggesting that 16 and 17-year-olds get the extra shot as well. The nation's urging the specific age group, along with those who are still unvaccinated, to get boosted due to the rapid spread of COVID-19's Omicron variant. Experts say the vaccine adds a strong layer of protection to fight off any COVID-19 variant, including Omicron. However, new variants still have room to move past the protective layer that vaccines offer, causing mild infections. One booster dose temporarily strengthens virus-fighting antibodies that bring up levels to combat systematic infection. 2 lucky people are about to share one of the highest Powerball jackpots in history. The winning tickets for the estimated $632.6 million jackpot were sold Wednesday in California and Wisconsin, with a cash payout of about $255 million each. According to the California State Lottery, the winning ticket was sold at a 7-Eleven in Sacramento, while Wisconsin's lottery has yet to announce where theirs was sold. This is the first time in over 3 months that a jackpot winner was sold. However, the Mega Millions prize increasing to $278 million for Friday's drawing is still up for grabs, with a $193 million cash option. Coming up on Hickory Run's News Choice, we take a trip to the SPCA Luzerne County and Community in You. Plus, Leading the Way, Part 4. Stay with us.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Solo Spaceman on Wyln TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
When emergency strikes, trust your care to the all-new ER at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. With a facility that's now twice the size. Experienced nurses who see you right away. A quick assessment process makes sure you get the care you need. Advanced technology on site. Safe, private treatment rooms, and a peace of mind that only this level of care can bring. When it matters most, trust your partner in emergency care. Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
If you've been thinking about bringing a furry feline friend into your home, then you may want to consider adopting one from the SPCA of Luzerne County. And manager Anita Ranieri has the rundown on the adoption process.
They could either come in the hours we're open and they're on our website, or they can go on our website and fill out an application. So they could either do it here or on our website and do the application. It takes a little time to process. Then we would contact them and schedule an appointment for them to come in. And then they could select the animal. We could take it out of the cage for them, and then if they fall in love, cats to adopt. If they have a rabies shot, it's $70. If they are without a rabies shot, it's $65.
Applicants must also provide a valid ID, verification of home ownership, or a letter of permission from their landlord, along with veterinary records. The public could also stop by the shelter during normal business hours to take a look at what could be their new potential best buddy.
So anybody who's driving by during the hours that we're open for the public, they can come in and they can view our animals. However, we're not going to remove any of the animals out of the cage. Everything right now is done by appointment. So they can fill out the application when they're here. We'll process it. It might be a day or two, and then we would call them also for an appointment to come back in.
Donations are also accepted to help out the pets and for programs like the SPCA's Trap, Neuter, and Release.
So if people want to donate to the TNR program, they would specifically send in a check or come in to the front of the shelter on the hours that we're open, and all they have to do is mention that they want to donate to the TNR program. It helps offset our costs, where that helps us out with spaying and neutering, buying the equipment that is necessary for TNR. As you know, traps aren't cheap, so we do need more of those always, so we can drop more in areas and do massive amounts. Just deterrents, buying deterrents, and hopefully handing them to people that need them.
And remember that adopting a cat or other animal requires a commitment. It's also important to prepare your home by setting up a sleeping and eating area, buying plenty of pet supplies, and pet-proofing your home in order to keep your animal safe. For more information or to view pets up for adoption, visit spcaluzernecounty.org or call 570-825-4111.
Penn State Hazleton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazleton.
Hey guys, tune in this week to Let's Talk Chiropractic. Brittany and Dr. Alex, she has had multiple problems. She fell 15 years ago and fractured her hip, slept on her stomach for 34 years, and everything's getting better. Tune in, let's see what her life is like.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Jim Perry's leading the way again into part 4 of this week's series.
And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Jim Perry. So we were talking about what came with the job, some of the things, and we were talking about one kind of task that you had conquered and accomplished and helped out a citizen. So keeping in mind with that, can you tell us about some accomplishments that big accomplishments that you've, whether it is as a city councilor
Yeah.
or also just in life that you've been
yes,
very proud
well,
of?
I mean, I don't really look at myself, but what we're trying to do, actually, I started the junior council on our city. We have junior council members, high school students from around the area who want to learn about city government, and they participate. I mean, before the pandemic, we used to have rows of them, 6, 7 of them coming to the meetings, participating, giving them the agenda, letting them come and communicate. They do now on Zoom, so I'm really proud that we continue that as an educator. I thought that was very important to keep them involved in our city government. And other than that, like I said, we have done so many things. We have now invested in our streetlights, which means they're self-funding. We don't have to, all new streetlights throughout the city, refinancing our debt, which will coming up very shortly, to buy fire trucks, maybe buy street department equipment, whether it's just a vac truck. So we're trying to do things that are positive. We have a land bank coming up to take care of properties that are dilapidated. So there's a lot on the horizon that I think the people are going to see is very good.
And in your role, is there a big challenge that you face? What's probably the biggest challenge you face?
Well, the biggest challenge is addressing all these things that are happening. We have a special events ordinance coming up, which is, again, we have to modify. We also have, I think, a comprehensive plan coming for the next 10 years. We had some studies that were done with cost analysis. We had studies that are done parking analysis. Through Pell and the state government has given us grants for that, and we're looking at redoing our parking so we can change for more automated systems that we have. So we're trying to modify and grow our city as much as we can and meet the needs of what's happening. Our city's growing, we know that. We don't know the final census, but we do know there's more people and there's housing is a shortage. So right now that's the problem. We have warehouses coming in. It's just growing. And I think there's some positives there, and we're trying to cooperate and work together with the people. That's really the key.
Yeah.
We're all getting along together, and we can move ahead forward and say, hey, we're very diverse, but we can get things done. There's no reason we can't.
Absolutely. All right, folks, check back tomorrow night as Jim Perry continues leading the way into part 5 of the final segment of this week. Good night.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page, YouTube page, or at WYLNTV.com. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.